Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my privilege today to introduce you to Bill Welychka. How you doing, Bill?
I am great, Teresa. Thanks for this opportunity. It's going to be amazing.
I'm so happy to have you here. And audience, you'll recognize Bill. I just want to give you a little feedback, and you're thinking, where do I know him from? So you know he is from Much Music years ago as the VJ, great Canadian host. You got to interview so many amazing icons, people I just adored. I love watching you on Much Music, and it was my pleasure to have you here today because you're doing some other things, and that's what we want to talk about. So can we go from the beginning, how you got started, and
Oh, how
talk
far
about
back
your
you want to
rise?
go?
I want you to talk about your rise. On Success Diaries, we talk about great people like you.
Again, thanks for the opportunity, Teresa. I love talking about my life, and I've been doing it a lot the past several years, talking about much music and what it meant to Canada and what it meant to the artists and what it meant to viewers. And it's all in a book that I put out in 23 called A Happy Has Been. And in the promotion of that book, talking about much music in those days, I realized nostalgia is huge and how important it is in our lives. And it brings us back somewhere that we miss and that we regard in a very high fashion. And so, in the promotion of that first book, I bring it up to date with what's happened since the release of that book. A total career change after over 35 years. Talks about that. A lot more fun stories and in interviews and being engaged with all these world-renowned musicians. So there's more stories about that. And yeah, I started at Much right out of college. I went to radio and television, started at Much as an editor, eventually fell into the on-air stuff, all the while never walking away from the edit bay. I love producing, I love editing. It satisfies that mild OCD in me, I think, where you place pictures and interview snippets and music clips and live performances and old interviews, and you just piece things together into an hour special. I love that. Something very satisfying about that.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we don't want to, we want to take you back just a little bit. Can you talk to us about some of the people that you really found a special spot for as you were interviewing and stories they had? And then I want to talk about your story and where you're going. So I know you did, you definitely interviewed people like Cher, who was one of my favorite singers, and Prince and things like that. Is there special ones in your heart that you have?
Everyone that I grew up to listening fell in love
Okay.
with music in like grade one. I had older brothers, so I'd be listening to their Bowie albums and Led Zeppelin albums and all these amazing classic rock artists, and had a chance to interview them all throughout the years. And patches on my jean jacket in high school, and buttons on my jean jacket, pictures in my locker, and pictures on my bedroom wall. I grew up and eventually interviewed every single one of them and then some. And I love that perfect circle kind of scenario. And I've had it happen a lot of times in my life. And even bands or artists that I really wasn't huge
Sure.
fans of, you still get a kick out of like Madonna, interviewing Madonna a couple of
Okay.
times. Mick Jagger from the Stones, Bill Wyman from the Stones. I'm a huge fan of The Cure. Got to interview and hang out with Robert Smith many times. Ozzy Osbourne. There's just I know I'm going to forget some when this interview is over, and I'll
Sure.
go, oh, why didn't I mention that one? I love Oasis. I love a lot of new artists and managed to hang out with the boys from Oasis many times.
Okay.
And essentially telling people's stories over
Perfect.
the years is what I've done. Hanging out with Ozzy Osbourne for a few days and flying around with him on his private jet. There's just so many fun stories in there. But it also talks about a time that I don't think will ever be replicated with much music and much more music eventually. And local television is thrown in there, and the importance of elevating everyone around us, and just that need to tell people stories, I think, is what has always driven me in assisting. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go to, you said, and you mentioned the 35 years you did that. Now you've changed your career and you're doing other things. So let's talk about what you're doing today.
For the past 12 years, I've been in Kingston working for CKWS TV. They've been around for about 70 years. It's a heritage station owned by Chorus Entertainment.
Yeah.
And last summer, we were the victim of what's happened across Canada with media making cuts in print, in TV, in radio. They basically slashed Kingston's interest in radio
Okay.
and TV. And it was very sad. It was devastating. I'll go to a grocery store or a gas station every day, and someone will still come up and say, what happened? I'm so sorry. We miss you guys. And it's very heartwarming. And you realize that, especially with local TV, you get invited into people's homes.
Oh,
You become
sure.
part of their family, and it's appointment television for them. I used to host a morning show here, and before that, a 5 o'clock sort of magazine show. And you realize just how important you are in people's lives, and it's humbling, and it's beautiful, and it's sweet, and it's endearing, and I needed it. And so last July, they pulled the plug on our TV and radio interest, like I said, and also, like I said, it's happened to print. Our local paper went from being this thick down to this thick. Every community has experienced that, sadly. And I thought after over 35 years, I had a good run at broadcasting. It's been fun. It's been very good to me. Got to travel the world, meet everyone I've wanted to, and even on a local level, showcase benefits and galas and fundraising events, which is very important to the community. And I loved it. But I just thought, I think I'm done with broadcasting
Okay.
after 35 years because I knew I didn't want to move from Kingston and I didn't want to look for another broadcasting job elsewhere. I didn't want to go from being one of the many that were laid off to another media job and then being laid off from that a year later. A friend of mine works at Gan Chev in Gananoque, Ontario. It's a really well-branded branded dealership.
Nice.
So I've been selling Cadillacs and GMC products and Chevy products and Cadillac products for the past 4 months and essentially assisting people.
Sure.
And we all have that, I would dare say, negative connotation of what a car salesman is. We picture that
Oh, not
polyester
me.
suit, smoking a cigar. What do I got to do to get you behind the wheel of this car? And it's not that, is what I've realized is I'm using my services to
Yeah.
assist others. And it's a great feeling when you see someone drive off and they are happy with their purchase and you've assisted them in that. And it's a beautiful feeling and a little different than what I've done my entire life. A bit of a career change at my age, but it was needed and I welcomed it. And everyone here is amazing. And we have buyers that have come to the dealership now for over 40 years, 45 years, from Trenton all the way to Ottawa. And we're right in the middle there. And it's got a great reputation and I love it. I
Bill,
miss broadcasting. I miss it. I will admit that, which is why it's important for me that this second edition of the book is out because I can look back and reminisce fondly everyone else has done.
Bill, could you pull that up one more time? I'd like to see
Oh,
the whole thing so everyone can see the whole book. Perfect. And I know you can get that on Amazon, Barnes and
by the
Noble.
way, by the way, Kat, our HR person just arrived. I'm at work right now. I just talked about Gan Chev a whole lot. She says I'm so sweet.
We're thrilled that you did.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Listen, I know Kingston very well. It's a beautiful town. I'm east of Toronto, and you're even further from where I am. And Kingston is a beautiful place, wonderful people. I assure you, it's one of the best places that you could be in, Bill. And so I understand the warmth of your community.
And I didn't want to leave. And one of the beautiful things about living in Kingston the past 13 years is I've been interviewing the guys from the Hip
Oh,
since
yes.
the mid 90s. I probably interviewed them more than anyone in the world. And to have Paul Langlois write the foreword was amazing to me. And when he sent me the email of the draft of the foreword, I cried because I've had a chance to solidify going from acquaintances with the band here in Kingston. Of course, they're from Kingston
Yeah.
to friendships with the guys. And I'm a fan first and foremost, but to be able to see Rob or Paul or Gord Sinclair walk around and have drinks with them and just have that friendship with the guys and their families has been such a gift for me.
Oh, amazing. And you know what? And sorry for your loss too. They're people that you knew and your friends, and what a wonderful icon for Canada. That their band is amazing, and we all mourn that loss for sure. And
I talk about the Hip extensively in the book, why my love for them is there, but it's just one of many stories of thousands and thousands of people across the world, not just Canada, but around the world and in the US that love this band to bits. And everyone's got their own reason why. And I share my reasons why this band is so important to so many others. And the fan base is brotherhood, a sisterhood of people. Like we
I
all
love
have
it.
that one thing in common. And that's a beautiful thing about music. The idea of going to a concert and having that shared experience with 15,000 strangers where you're all taken somewhere through the power of a song, and it's elevating. And it's songs can be your best friend on those long drives alone. It can be a companion when you need it most to be uplifted. And I talk about that and the power of music in the book as well.
That's wonderful. And so I was saying to everyone earlier, you can get it at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Where else can they get the book, Bill?
Local bookstores, Indigo, Chapters. I've had some buyers, so weird. I've had some buyers say last week, someone said, I'll buy a car if you sign your book for me. And I went, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
They picked up their car yesterday. Saturday, I went to Indigo and bought 3 books. And the cashier is like, "Just you? Did you write this book?" I go, "Yeah." "Why are you buying your own book?"
I love it, but you're giving them as gift. I want now this is important too. You're doing the white ribbon campaign, and I want you to know that's such a are you're still doing that with your book and giving to the charities?
Absolutely. Yeah, for
So
sure. It's
important. I am so impressed with that too, Bill. I want everyone to know for sure for women's shelters across Canada, such a noble thing you're doing. I don't want to miss telling them that you're doing that with those books. So the most, I think the most giving part of you is to be able to give to such a worthy cause. I too give to women's charities. The women's shelter, abuse shelters are so important, and for families who need some shelter, some help to rescue and to move on in life and be the person they really want to be. So thank you for doing that, Bill.
basically the White Ribbon Campaign. It's a collection of guys around the world joining together to end men's violence against women. And that makes me proud. I'm usually ashamed of my own sex. And to know that these guys are out there raising awareness, raising money to elevate women, and not just to end men's violence against women, but it's also branches off into equality and equity. The White Ribbon Campaign now exists in countries where women don't have a lot of rights. And the more guys that speak out against the travesty and the injustice and the abuse, the more guys will listen, I think. Hopefully. And it could stem, hopefully, from a situation where little Johnny grows up seeing daddy slap mommy and realizes, oh, I guess that's okay. No, it's not. And so the White Ribbon Campaign gets these guys into schools, hopefully at an age where they can make a difference and realize that there is no room in our world against violence against women. And so they try and curb that. And you could talk about date rape drugs and
Mhm.
college, university, and it takes one guy to stand up and say, no, that's not cool, guys. What are you doing?
That's right.
And that's who we respect and love to get that message out there.
Thank you so much for doing that, Bill. That's so important. And the group that you're with, thank them all so much. That is so appreciated. Across Canada, we have such wonderful young men. And as they learn and grow,
Absolutely.
they can have beautiful families and feel healthy and strong and know that they're gentlemen and proud, and we embrace that. So thank you, Bill.
Oh my God, the more people know about it and talk about it, specifically guys, the better. Absolutely.
Absolutely, Bill. You are such a warm, giving person. I truly mean that. I saw you on television, as I said, years ago, and I know you've moved along in life in such a gracious way. And today you're doing even more amazing things. Can I ask where you see yourself in 5 years, Bill? Do you have a plan going forward? Are you going to stay at the dealership and grow with them, which is wonderful? What's your plan with that?
I never did have a plan, really. I like to think I had some goals along
Yeah.
the way. And I've far exceeded any dream that I ever had. And I think the situation there is find another dream quick. Because right now I'm just loving the moment and love sharing my story. And I know that putting out a book is weird because I'm telling my story. And that's all I've ever done is tell other people's stories. I think it's important to realize that we all have a story. You, Teresa, have a story. Anyone watching this has a story. Not a lot of us get a chance to have their story told. But I think everyone has lessons that they've learned and everyone has a great story. And what a blessing that it has been for me to share my story.
Thank you. I really enjoyed having you today, Bill. You are wonderful. Now, if somebody wanted to reach out to you right now, what's the best place they can reach you, Bill? Do you have
Uh,
a
Yeah, billwelychka.ca,
Perfect.
Welychka. That's the website for the book. And on there are the ISBN numbers that you can go to any bookstore and say, this Bill guy seems okay. Seems like a nice guy. I'd love to read about those old days. And yeah, billwelychka.ca. And you could, if your bookstore doesn't carry it, you can certainly order it from them.
Thank you, Bill. So everyone, this is Bill Longtime. You know that already. We're very pleased that you came out and talked with us today. I know you're doing great things and I really appreciate your coming on today. And to everyone, go over to Amazon, get his book, and you're reaching out to that great cause. So that's wonderful. But most importantly, all your stories coming forward, Bill. I want to hear all about it too. So thank you so much today.
The best thing has been getting pictures from people. They're on vacation and they're reading the book on the beach. And they've sent me pictures. It's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Very,
that. You can
very
send in your
sweet.
pictures to Bill too. I love that.
I would love that. Yeah.
That's such a human part, isn't it? You're such a
Yeah.
comedian. We're just so proud of you, Bill.
Aw. You've been amazing and continue to do what you do. You are really good at it.
Oh, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. I appreciate your kind words. And we look forward to seeing you down the future, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
Bill, thank you. To everyone, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. Do subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate that. I hope you're all having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye now.